Hello, everybody. We made it. Check yourself. Are you still all in one piece? We can't check our sanity. We're not going that far. We can't be sure about that. But let's just, like, hey, I'm all here. I feel like we went through some kind of crash test and we're like, oh, wait, am I okay? And we're like, yeah, okay, we're here. We're good, Again, sanity may not be true, but the rest of us physically, we made it. We made it through another week. So good to see you. Thank you so much. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a spirit navigator predicting politics tonight, chatting with you live from wherever you are, and it is worldwide. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to get down to some business today because there is a lot going on. And I just want to say that I'm wearing pink. Now, this is important, okay? Because maybe you've noticed, but I haven't been wearing pink. I've been wearing black, a lot of black, a lot of dark colors. And why am I wearing pink? I don't know. But I think it's a good sign because my color matches my mood, which matches if I'm reading politics, well, it matches the politics. Now, I'm not saying that it's magically all going to be better, but I do feel like the energy is moving and there's real things we can point at in the real reality that we are living that I think support that. So we're going to talk about that and we're going to get into a lot of things. I want to start. It is a happy color. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going through my closet. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Where's burgundy? Where's black? Where's hunter green? I've been passing up this pink for a while and I'm like, oh, pink. Oh, okay. That gives me hope. So yeah, yeah, peach and peach is an impeach. Exactly. You got it. Right. Right. I feel like, the guides are saying take your wins, when you get them. Like don't say, "Oh, I'll hold out for something better," or "Oh, I'm going to hold out until this happens or that." They're like, "No, celebrate your wins." And I think that I think we will celebrate these wins, right? Like I don't think we're going to, overlook or poo-poo him becoming whatever it is that he becomes, right? Like if he becomes incapacitated in any way, I think we're going to celebrate. Um, and I also think that we can celebrate some other things, but we're going to get into it. I want to start out. I'm seeing your questions. Hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I do want to say something. I did not get a chance to watch his whole live stream because I got interrupted. However, I'm a big fan of Johnny Tarot's Apprentice and his latest live stream. He starts out with the breaking news that JD has chickens. Now I know y'all thought I was going to say something else, probably gonorrhea or couchurea or some kind of thing like that. We got diseases now we don't even know what they are. Maybe couches can give you diseases now because it's probably polyesteria. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'm saying no. He got chickens. He got chickens delivered to his vice president mansion thingy, and he says he's gonna take care of them himself. And Johnny read on this, and Johnny was like, this is the moon. Like these chickens are being fooled. They're being lied to. Maybe they're dinner. I don't know. Or there's not. It's just not on the up and up. And I mean, look, we expect nothing less from JD Vance than shenanigans and shysterism and all of that. So I just want to shout out to Johnny for breaking that news because I'm like, well, that's interesting. So let's just start out with that because when we do this live stream, I'm starting at 5 o'clock on the West Coast, and my West Coast people show up about 6. The actual viewership doubles in an hour. So I want to talk about some other things, and we'll get really into the nitty gritty of it in a few minutes. Okay. But yeah, I want to look at this because chickens. Now, my guides are saying he could also pass this off as looking more, trying to make him look more Appalachian, right? Trying to make him look more accessible to the MAGAs. Like, yeah, I got chickens. And he says he's going to take care of them. He's on a book tour right now. He can't even take care of the country. He can't even do his job. Them chickens are fending for themselves right now. You know they are. You know they are fending for themselves. Anyway, so why did this the guides keep screaming at me? And I'm saying screaming because sometimes I'm dramatic. Maybe they're not screaming, but they're repeating to me. And you know when a kid repeats a lot of things to you, sometimes you think or you're a spouse, you're like, stop screaming at me. When in reality, they're just talking in all caps. Well, anyway, so my spirit guides are saying, look, this is about to get real deep, you guys. Get out your hazmat suits, get out your hip waders, get out them white shrimper boots that DeSantis wore in Florida. Y'all got some in your closet. Remember when he was wearing those white shrimper boots? We call them shrimper boots down on the Gulf. But anyway, some of y'all call them Dallas cheerleading boots. I don't know. I'm just saying, get prepared. So the spirit guides are saying this. I can't even say this. Like this is too much for me. This is too much for me. They're saying this is connected to the tunnel people. I told y'all to be prepared. I told you. Okay. Did you watch my live with Kevin's Loving Vibration? Because if you didn't, you might not have heard that there are these people, for real, honest to God humans, exiting tunnels in New York City. And this has been videoed and this has been on local news and people were talking about it. So I'm over here talking chickens, y'all. This is my life. Okay, right. This is what this is it. This is it right here. I'm talking chickens and JD Vance, and they want to talk about people coming out of tunnels. So what I'm going to say that the guides are saying is both of these things are similar because first of all, they're both not what you think they are. Number one. Number two, they're both they're saying it in a different way, but it really means something different. They're saying it's a cover up for something. So the people, the chickens, well, the chickens are chickens, I think. I'm not even going to go there. If they alien chickens, I'm not going there. I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing it. Today is disclosure day. I ain't doing it, y'all. What is happening right now? Now my guides are calling them PFOW. PFOWL. Somebody get these guides off that. They're drinking again too early. So anyway, the bottom line is that whatever he's got these chickens for, they're not they're not there to be chickens. They're not there to be helping him with his manliness or helping him with his Farmer Joe attitude. I don't know what, but they're there to cover up something. So I think they're there to cover up deliveries. You're getting chicken feed delivered. Are you really? Right? It's a sack. It says chicken feed on it. It could have anything in it. It's a way for him to receive things and to send things and just whatever and have a reason for it. Because when you're at the VP's, whatever they call it, observatory, what has a name for it, when you're at the VP's place, your comings and goings are kind of public. So you need a way to bring things in or have weird things like, hey, the hardware store is delivering something. Okay. What has that got to do with the tunnel people? Well, the tunnel people are doing the same thing. They're transporting things in that tunnel, right? They're bridging the tunnel to the surface because they're coming out of the tunnel. So they're actually taking something from top side, bringing it into the tunnel and vice versa. So anyway, let's see what you guys are saying. You're saying a bunker in the chicken coop. I got it, right? Maybe he's going to put chickens over him and it's going to protect him. They're kind of fluffy. I used coffee for this. I need coffee for this conversation. Well, I'm glad that's all you need. That's pretty good if you only need coffee. PFOW. I know. Look, I'm telling you, it is what it is. Bunker food. What have your guides been smoking? I often wonder the same thing. I don't know. But I'm telling you, the whole time they're talking to me about these tunnel people. I think others have read on the tunnel people. The thing I also want to tell you about the tunnel people that's really important is, and we're going to talk about this too in a different way. If local news is filming it and broadcasting it, that we should all be thinking, why are they doing this? Because they don't film anything. They don't tell us about any. mass shooting, they don't film that. They don't tell us anything about what's going on in Iran, but yet they're going to film people coming out of the tunnel. So why did they do that, right? Was it to show Fox News viewers that New York City is under attack and put the headline that this is Antifa or something? I mean, they always have a viewpoint they're trying to put out there. So when you see news, please understand that person has a viewpoint they're trying to express, whether that's something you agree with or not. But we should really be aware of that as well. So yeah, I don't know what's peafowl are female peacocks. Okay. Um, okay, Miriam. Well, so I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say perhaps they're calling JD a peafowl because a female peacock, that I think that fits. I think that definitely fits. I think that's what they're trying to say. Attack chickens could be. Foul play is afoot. Uh-oh, the puns are loose. Men in Black movie shoot. Okay. All right. You're saying it's a Men in Black movie shoot. All right, cool. New meaning to guano, which is caca, which is poop. Yeah. So yeah, there's some really wild things happening here. What is being transported? Well, if you're talking about with the, I'm not sure if you're talking about the chickens or the tunnels or all of it, because they just showed me what is the name of the island that I think Jared and Ivanka bought or want to buy, or Albania, right? Underneath there's all these tunnels. So you see there's a thread here, moving things in this island, transferring things. They're showing me now the tunnels under Mar-a-Lago that go to the beach. So what are they transfer? It could be data. It could be messages that you can't entrust with your phone or the internet. It could literally, ambassadors have attaches, meaning suitcases that they get to carry and nobody gets to check them because that way you can communicate without anybody reading it. You have a piece of paper, you hand it to the person hands it back to you. It's completely the most private type of communication you can have. So if you're looking to send communications, this would be an important way to do that because what you're sending can't be sent through an ambassador. So it could be communications. It could also be money. I feel like a lot of these things is just cash, just ill-begotten cash. Also, it could be drugs. It could be people. I mean, just think about it. What do they trade? They trade all of those things, right? So, and in all of these cases, Mar-a-Lago, anywhere there's tunnels, and guess who has the boring company? Elon Musk, who's making tunnels throughout the United States. My spirit guides get all kind of more energized around the idea of the boring company and them making these tunnels. It makes them energized. It makes them feel some kind of way. So we should probably be paying more attention to that than we are. Yeah, a diplomatic pouch, exactly. Smuggling, right? They're smuggling whatever, people, money, communications, whatever it is. It would be smuggled. Yeah, you're welcome, Opti student. Absolutely. Let's see. Jan Anderson says, what do you see happening with US-Mexico trade negotiations? It doesn't feel good. I just had to take in a big, deep breath because there's a lot of tension. It doesn't feel great. I don't see Mexico. On one hand, they do need us. They've come to depend on us because of NAFTA. They've really depended on that trade. And to get to Canada, they go to us through us, right? It's they want to make a deal They want to find a way to make a deal. But I will also say that this is a short-term deal. Anything they agree to is short-term while they find other ways to fill their coffers, other ways to make those sales or that trade happen. But they may try to make a deal with him, and it may seem that they're, again, that people have to kind of kiss his butt because it's not him, it's us, the United States. We're a huge customer. We buy a lot of goods and we have a lot of power. So he has now captured that power. So they have to kind of do things they wouldn't normally do or wouldn't want to do because they have to. They have to find a way to help their own citizens. It doesn't mean they support him. It doesn't mean they support us. And it doesn't mean they're going to continue to do so. It means that they're buying some time. So that I think they're just buying time. But, for Donald is going to ask for some kind of just insane thing back. So that's unfortunate. I don't know why, but I'm drawn to this. Susan R says, what do you see for King Charles in the next few months? Actually, I think I'm seeing April of next year, honestly. So I'm not sure if he could step down. A long time ago, and I mean maybe years ago, I saw a reason for Harry to come back to the palace. Not necessarily in a royal capacity, but in the capacity of I have to go help my brother or I have to go. It's really the capacity of loyalty and sort of a patriotism for his country. So there could be something that happens that Harry says, I'm not here on an official, I'm not, obviously not, don't have my official royal duties, but I'm here because I care. I'm here because I'm a good person and I care. So I think there could be an upheaval with Charles and that whole scenario. And I don't think this is Prince Andrew. I don't think this is the e-files. I think this is health related, and then potentially also a sort of some sort of attack on England or London specifically, but I don't think it's anything just like World War III or anything, but I think it's unsettling. And I think that plus this plus King Charles's health, I just think it's all too much. And I think there's some real division. Somebody asked in here about, I think somebody asked earlier about Belfast. Let me see if that is in case what happened. I think somebody asked about Belfast. Yes, Stefan, what is your name? Stephanie said, Happy Friday. What the HE double hockey stick is going on with Belfast? Well, if you guys don't know, people living in Belfast got letters that said, you have to get out. We're going to burn your place down. I mean, this is like the KKK in the United States. And then what else happened that I read is that the local authorities went to those houses and said, you got to get out. So instead of saying, oh, we'll post some people here and we'll protect you, they said, no, you need to get out. So people literally had to leave their homes. So the reason I'm talking about Belfast is because it's racial. They're actually picking people out who have interrace marriages. So they're married a white person to an Eastern Indian or somebody who's not white. So they're picking on these people and they're attacking them. And this energy is not just in Belfast. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not just in the United States. So I feel like this could also erupt in London, in England. So there just could be a lot of unrest and just real, that makes you afraid. That makes you, hey, if the police aren't going to protect us, instead they're like, hey, leave. Like what? what exactly is going on here? So I feel like all of this is of a piece in some ways. Okay, it feels like a fire that's catching on everywhere, and I think that's going to end up affecting the royal family in some way. Um, Another good question by a goatee man, and thank you all my moderators. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you so much. Goatee man says there's some legislation in Congress right now that aims to merge the IDF with our military and security. Bad move, but do you see it get implemented? The IDF is the Israel defense something. I don't know what it's their army. Let's just call it that. For basic layman's explanation, I've talked about this. I've read on this. I've warned you guys about this. I have seen our military being used in ways that are not approved, and I've seen other militaries being embedded in our military. I've seen this for months. I've been talking about it, but here it is in reality. I believe that a lot of the ICE people, not a lot, but let's say even if it's 4% of the IC people are not, they are paramilitary, but not ours. Okay, so they're professional military, but not ours. It's a real problem because here's the thing the guides are saying. They're having a harder and harder time convincing our military to do the things they want them to do, whether it's they're trying to convince a major, a general, or a soldier. They're having a hard time. And so they're going to plug in or integrate these other professional military people into our officer corps. And you would say, Susan, that's crazy, but how many of those people did they make officers that never were even in the military? They gave officer status to billionaires. That everything is off the table right now. And Congress, don't even get me started about it. But I do think this is a thing. Okay, I do think this is a thing. I think it's something we need to watch out for. There's not much we can do about it, but we can document it. And then we need to be careful about documenting this online. We need to be careful. Look, do what you do, but understand that the louder online you are, the more of a target you become. And that's fine. If you're good with that, that's fine. But I think we need to understand what the ramifications are here in some of these situations. Okay. I don't Now, do I see your question really is Congress going to approve this? And the guide said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're going to find ways around it. One of the ways that they get around it is they say, well, and it's true. We've always had joint training. We have joint training with Canada, with Mexico, with every country. We have joint training. That's how they're going to couch it. That's how they're going to explain it to us. And is it a lie? Yes. But are all these things lies? Yes. But this is how they're going to get around it. I don't think they're going to wait for Congress. If that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Also, I do want to say that I saw a picture today of who's the senator. I think she's a senator, a woman. I swore that I was going to remember her name. She's from the Midwest, Minnesota, or one of those things. Let me see if I screenshot it. Sometimes I screenshot these things because it's important, but I don't think I did. Anyway, there was a group of senators today that took their pictures. No, I didn't. That took their pictures wearing seersucker. And she posted it on her, it starts with an L. It's not Murkowski, Senator Murkowski. She posted it on her social media. Look at us, bipartisan together, all wearing seersucker on National Seersucker Day. And I'm like, lady, our democracy is getting ready to be, yeah, it might have been Kobashort. Yeah. Our democracy is going downhill, and you're posing for pictures wearing seersucker. I mean, I'm telling you, they're out to lunch. You got Amy Klobuchar. Yeah, they're out to lunch. I think it was Klobuchar and not Murkowski. It's Klobuchar. No, it's Klobuchar because it's I mean, you can Google it. I'm sure it'll come right up because she was like, "Look at us," and it was bipartisan. I'm like, "Oh my God, you think this is really important thing for you to do?" So if Congress is out there, including some Democrats that are, ones that we like, are out there taking pictures wearing a seersucker and not answering what is going on with this bill to integrate the IDF with us, right? Like, so you understand that I don't know that we can really depend on Congress at this point. I think what's going to end up happening is that sh- Donnie Boy, hence the pink. I think maybe this is for Barry. Blood. This could be blood. Okay, well, it's not really blood, but it's happy blood. I don't know. Anyway, I think that Donnie Boy is going to have some challenges. Okay, maybe he doesn't cross, but he's going to have some challenges, and I think that's going to reshuffle the deck. It's going to just create a lot of new opportunities. So Congress might finally wake up and realize the place is on fire and we need to start acting like Mr. and Mrs. Tough Guy. So you might see these people, and I've said this many times, they're going to rebrand, right? They're going to rebrand themselves. You might see them actually start acting like, they care, maybe. Um, yeah. So yeah, what else is while Rome is burns and go Barry go. Exactly. So again, back to Petty Boots, they're the ones that coined Barry is the blood clot. So in case you guys don't know, they have named the blood clot that Donnie is hosting, at least one, Barry. And there's so many good reasons why his name is Barry. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys for joining me tonight. We're going to get into it. Make it in front of the camera like movie disclosure. Yes, I know, right? Um, I'm not doing personal readings tonight. I'm so sorry for your loss, Shelley. I know that that must be absolutely horrible, but I'm not really doing personal readings. Um, yeah, I can't really get into that right now, but I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah, he hasn't been golfing. And also, let's talk about this too. Another development happened, which is important. Well, he's not golfing. An important thing. But also, JD's his boss, Peter Thiel, uh, left and went to Argentina, which somebody said Argentina is like Africa, the continent of Africa is like their South Africa. Argentina is the continent of South America, is like their South Africa. So Teal debunked to South Africa / Argentina, and it's been reported that JD Vance's, I don't know if his personal assistant, a high level aide, let's put it that way, left, turned in his resignation and left. And this guy, according to reporting that I've seen, this guy has been with him for a long time. So we have 2 defectors in the JD camp, and he's bought chickens. Something is going on. Something is going on there. I think people are defecting all around JD. I don't think he has a chance to he doesn't have a chance to grab that ring that's going to be available. Yeah, exactly. Argentina already has market. It already has a well-known history of welcoming, I would say, a certain group of people from Germany that fled, and they lived there for many, many decades. And a lot of those people were arrested in Argentina and brought back to The Hague or to the criminal courts. Yep, Cindy, a lot of them did, but also some ended up here in the United States. Remember, we nabbed those scientists and brought the scientists here and gave them um, lab space and jobs because we wanted their science. Which what kind of terrible science was that? Eugenics. So yeah. JD bought chickens is what I've understand. He went out and got chickens and he's raising chickens in his VP residence. But also he is on a book tour. So you have Amy Klobuchar wearing seersucker and posing with some senators, and you have JD out there on a book tour, and it's so sad, really and truly. Yeah, they did. They brought them for NASA stuff, but you got to wonder, Tiny Court. You just got to wonder what else they were doing, right? Because I don't think you bring Nazis here. I don't know. I'm sure there's other stuff that they were into that probably wasn't all that great. Yeah, let's talk about this because those big metal arcs, big metal rings that they have there in at the White House for this UFC fight, and there is terrible storms being predicted. And also, my heart goes out to all the people who have experienced tornadoes. I saw a person, I don't remember what state they were in, but their shed with their pot-bellied pig got lifted up a la Dorothy. The whole thing disappeared, and they found the pig in the shed on the ground, perfectly fine. Like the pig just took a ride in the shed, magic carpet style. But my heart goes out to you guys, anybody that's experiencing that. Most of us have been through some sort of natural disaster and it's horrible. So my heart goes out to you. However, if something should strike the White House, yeah, I don't really have any, I can't find any sympathy for that. Because I also have seen, before the White House was damaged, I saw it being damaged. And I still think it's going to be worse. Oh yeah, the guides are saying this morning, sometime today, they told me, and I've kind of gotten this before, but they said I heard in my head the White House is full of bugs. Now look, again, we know it's full of bugs. Look at Kennedy. I mean, he's probably got fleas, mice, mites, mange. Donald looks like he has mange. So, bugs makes sense. But the guide said bugs and bugs. So, bugs, meaning maybe they're having an outbreak of some kind of, pestilence, but also bugs as in listening bugs. So, this is why also I see them traveling to um, different places to have they used to go to the golf course and have their meetings because they didn't want anybody listening in. But now I think they're going to be going to other sanctioned places. Maybe they're going to go hang out in the chicken coop. Maybe the chicken clucking is going to cover up any of their conversations. I don't know. But I do see bad weather in the area of DC this weekend, but I also see bad actors. So there could be a real the word I got was comeuppance. That's not what I was thinking that I was going to get, but comeuppance, getting your just desserts, so to speak. But there could also be a real problem, like I know there's a fight, right? I know that energy is there, but there's energy of more than a fight, like something that happens where people are falling over themselves, running, trying to get out, trying to get away. Hysteria. The guides just said hysteria. So maybe it's a big thunderclap that sounds like a GUN, or maybe it's a GUN and people think it's a thunderclap. I don't know, but it seems like a lot of confusion. And even all of you that do Reiki or just are sentient into energy, when you go into the energy of this thing, of the White House and this structure they built and the UFC, the whole thing, when you go into the energy of it, it feels honestly, it feels like a black portal, like a black hole portal. Like there's like have you ever seen those things in the water that are vortexes where people can get sucked into them and drugged down to the bottom? This is what it feels like energetically. It feels like like the ground is going to open up and there's this, everything is going to get sucked into this. I don't, that could be a BOMB that opens up the ground. That could be an energetic thing that you can't see. But let me ask them, will this actually, yeah, Zeus, will this actually be physical or emotional? They're saying it's very emotional. Again, hysteria. People are emotionally upset. I don't know. There's several things that could happen, but it could be a false flag. It could be an attempt to just show you that it could be that somebody has a drone or a country has drones and they fly over it and drop leaflets to say, hey, we could have blown you up, but we chose not to. It could be something like that. That's just like, it's meant to terrify and and when I'm going into that energy, I don't see 45. No, he is scared. At first he's not. At first he's doing that thing when he was looking. Remember when he was looking behind the curtains at the stage when the other thing that I predicted happened with the shots fired and all of that, and he was backstage like looking. That's his, because sometimes I think he doesn't remember that these things are going to happen or they don't even tell him. And I think that this is his initial reaction is, oh, this is my people. Oh, they planned this for me. This is another one of those things where I get to stand up, and raise my hand and have a picture taken. That's what he thinks. But that's not it. So I see him being terrified. I see him being, I don't know how somebody can crap their pants when they've already crapped their pants, and that's a normal thing. But look, I don't know. He is going to get even worse. And he is not, the guides are saying he's not ambulatory, he's not mobile. So he's, you can't get him to run, you can't get him out. It just, I don't know that I'm not sure that he's going to go. I just think it's going to be terrifying. Whatever happens could scare him. And it could be lightning, it could be electricity. I think there's something having to do with electricity in the astrology right now, so it could be that. But it feels like, yeah, it looks like Stargate. It does look like that. I don't know if it's a false flag. I mean, it could be a false flag, but one he doesn't know about, right? What if, so behind the scenes, right? Because this is my specialty. So behind the scenes, when I go into the energies of JD and Wiles and Rubio, and really the other one is Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche is somebody that we don't pay enough attention to him. He's a real player here. He's much more powerful than anybody thinks. And he's much better at protecting his energy. He shields. A lot of these people don't. Like, I can just see what they're thinking, what they're doing. Todd Blanche shields really, really well. So when I go into that energy of all the players, they are fighting for power right now, perhaps maybe there's a situation where Teal and JD Vance's guy who left said, you got to step down because you're going to bring us down. If you go to prison, we're going to prison. So step down. And maybe Vance said, no, I'll get chickens instead. Maybe Vance said, no, I'm not going to step down. I'm going to stay right here. So instead they left him there. I see Rubio, and I'm not saying that Rubio wants this, but Rubio's backers want him to be president. That is their man. That is who they want. It's not even the word want, it's need. The energy is, we have to make this happen. Do you understand? It's like when your boss says, there's no room for error. You've got to make this happen. This is what they're telling Rubio. So there's a lot going on in the energy behind all of this. So yeah, it could be a false flag, but not from Donald for once. It's crazy. It's all crazy. Yeah, I know. I've talked about this. Speakers of the House. Look, the guides made me look up Succession. I had to look it all the way up and wrote it all down. This is how serious this is. This week, I literally Googled it and wrote down how it goes. So how it goes is, because I was asking the same thing. I'm like, how we get to Rubio? How do we ever get there? So the thing is that it goes to JD, it goes Donald to JD. From JD, it goes to Johnson, Speaker of the House. From Speaker of the House Johnson, it goes to Chuck Grassley, Speaker, whatever, pro tem, whatever he is, of the Senate. And then after that, it goes to Rubio. Now, if this fixes in, and look, I've already explained how nobody's following any laws. Nobody's following the Constitution. So Don, something happens to Don. I feel like it is that he cannot speak, that he is incapacitated in a lot of ways. Like they might be able to put him in a chair and prop him up, but I don't think that he can. I don't think he can speak. So he's out. JD either steps down or is taken out. Again, this guy's protectors are leaving him. We should be paying attention to these things, right? So he's out. Johnson is going to say, oh my gosh, for the good of the country, I can't accept. He's going to turn it down. Grassley is 99,100 years old. Grassley is going to be like, oh, for the good of the country, I can't. Rubio walks in. Now, the funny thing is that if this does go down like this, everybody has free will. Maybe Johnson is like, hey, I know I'm not supposed to take it, but I am. But the energy suggests that anybody that gets in the way of Rubio will be taken out. And when I go into Rubio, I see him, and I don't know if he's short. Maybe he is, but I see him on like a pillow that's 3 foot tall. It's like, I think the vision that I'm seeing is exaggerated. Maybe that's a metaphor for his personality. Like his little legs are like sticking out, like straight, like they can't even go down. Maybe it's a metaphor for being, having like that kind of personality. I don't know. I don't know if Rubio was born in Cuba, but I'm telling you right now, they're not following the Constitution. Who's going to make them, y'all? Who? The Supreme Court? No. This is not. Rubio getting in is ridiculous. We're going over the speaker, we're going over the vice president. So you can understand that if they're going to try to put him in, they've already dealt with all of the things and said we don't care. They've already dealt with all the reasons why this can't happen, and they said we're going to make it happen anyway. I'm just telling you this is what they want. Not saying they're going to get it, but this is what they want. And if our Democrats are getting pictures in seersucker with other Republicans because it's National Seersucker Day, who's going to stand in there and say no? Who's really going to stop them, right? So he was born in Miami. Yeah, I figured that. Is he very short? The guides just keep saying, I'm seeing like these great big huge cushions. Not that it matters. Like I don't care if he's short. I'm just saying I think this is a metaphor also for his energy of having to make up for the fact that he wasn't first choice, that he wasn't voted in, all these things. 5'9" is not so bad. But when, JD is 6'2" or 3 and Trump is whatever, 6 foot. Anyway, yeah, like the Napoleon complex. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The whole cabinet could be impeached for conspiracy and should be impeached for conspiracy. Actually, the guides feel like they should be charged with treason, maybe treason, a conspiracy to commit treason or something. But we don't have a structure to get rid of them. We don't have it. And I feel like when I look at the energy, meaning we don't have a Supreme Court that's going to do it. We don't have Congress that's going to do it. It's broken. The whole thing is broken. So having said that, let me say this. Let's just say Don goes out and JD walks away, or whatever happens to JD, or even if he's in office, or even if Rubio's in office, and the nightmare continues, but with a different leader. Why that is different is because the MAGASs will not and cannot, do not like anybody else. They don't like Rubio. They don't like JD. They don't like any of them. Okay. So that's a huge blow. The guides are saying it's a lot like CK, Charlie. When Charlie was offed, I told you guys that's the end of Turning Point because he was Turning Point. Yes, Erica with 3Ks wants to take it over. Yes, all of them are salivating. They're slobbering at the idea of capturing all those young people, but they can't because for whatever reason, CK had this weird charisma, and that's who they were aligned with. They weren't aligned with her, and Turning Point is nothing without him. This is the problem with magus. It's nothing without Donald. Once he's gone, the whole thing starts falling apart even faster. So that's why we're hoping for Barry, and that's why even if we did get JD or we got Johnson or we got Rubio, it's short-lived because those people are going to catch hell. They're going to, all of a sudden, people are going to wake up to the gas prices and the no health care or health care they can't afford. They can't afford the groceries. Somebody's going to pay the price for this. We just have to get to that point. And right now, if you're familiar with that thing where they boil the frog and they turn the heat up slowly and slowly and slowly, that's kind of what they've been doing to the majority of the United States. It's been slowly turning the heat up. And we are extremely resilient, extremely resilient. People just get another job. People just do this, people do that. But there's going to come a point where we really are boiling and there will be a reaction. There will be a reaction, and it will be a strong and a deadly reaction. So that's how we get out of this, if you're wondering. This is the same thing that I've been seeing for a long time. Ah, Libby's here. Rubio, a day late and a dot short. Yep, exactly. So what else is happening with you guys? Uh-oh. Gwyneth Paltrow. She's in big, yeah. Oh, if Sharon Sipe is here, I'm sending you love and hugs and lots of healing. Take good care of yourself. My gosh, you should be relaxing. Yeah, this is an interesting thing, really and truly. These power centers are now starting to become more clear, right? So you have the billionaires, and then you have the tech bros, and you have the evangelists. They're starting to break into their own camps. And the guides just said data centers. The data centers are going to make the evangelists turn against the tech bros, and everybody's going to go against the tech bros. I mean, everybody is going to go against them. And guess who is aligned with the tech bros? JD. So I think he's really going to be left holding the bag here, and he's not going to like that. And if he was smart, he would step down, but he's not smart. He's just not. Oh, great. They're taking his name down off the Kennedy Center tonight. They blocked his emergency appeal, and they're unloading more scaffolding as we speak. Yay. And I heard that there were some storms around there, and somebody said while it was raining, and the workers were waiting for the storms to stop, a rainbow happened over the Kennedy Center. So I'm like, Spirit is like, we got this. We got this. So I'm glad to hear that. Yes, Candace is absolutely no holds barred, no holds barred at all. She said that Donald, Killed, Charlie Kirk, absolutely. And I've always, from the minute, literally the minute that happened, I said this was a setup. This was not the guy who did it. He didn't do it. This was some other. It was a setup. Everything about it was a setup. They paved over the evidence. Like 2 days later, they're pouring concrete over that area. Why would you do that? Think about it. Usually a crime scene, you can't get access to it. It's just the whole thing was wrong. It was just totally wrong. It was totally a setup. So yeah, I don't know. Candace is still out there doing the work. as you know, she was also in that cult of Charlie. Like she was big in the Charlie part of it. I didn't know Candace Owens was in Russia. Are you talking about recently? Was she there recently? Look, the thing is, we have to remember this, that nothing is A plus B. It's all algebra. Solve for X, and and we don't know, right? So my point is that Russia will work against Donald, but they will also support Donald. They will also support, a Republican, meanwhile working against the United States. So none of this stuff is going to be simple or easy to understand. So why was she in? I can promise you that Russia loves what she's doing. They love that she's causing mayhem, that she's because what they want is for us to hate each other, fight each other, for our dollar to go down, for our lives to be like crap. Because if your people are looking at the United States going, wow, wish I was living there. If you have any opportunity to show them, oh, they have all these shootings, look what's happening here, look what's happening here. So it's really important for you to have an example of the United States being completely horrible, failed state, so that then you can take it back to your people. Same thing with China. You don't want to go live in the United States. You're not safe. Look what's happening. It's a mockery, right? So these countries have every benefit to make us look bad, to make us fight each other, to turn us against each other. So even though, like you bet on this horse, but you also bet on that horse. You're going to bet on all the horses because maybe one of them will come through for you. That's what I get. The cult of dysfunctionality is so true. And hate and racism, really. It's really like a cult of racism, I think, and classism. Yeah, this is all true. Cat Mom, Marco worked for his drug dealer brother-in-law, who I think went to prison. As everyone where in Miami knows, Rubio is gay. Yep, he got arrested with a man cruising a park. Yep. Hegseth. If you guys haven't seen Hegseth working out with soldiers, my wrists don't even go like that. His wrists are like this. He's got dumbbells in his hands, but his wrist, somebody drew a line. Like, wait a minute, how do you do that, right? I'm telling you, Hegseth has got a closet full of something. Maybe they're feather boas, and I don't care. Here's my flag for pride right there. But do not go and get rid of LGBTQ soldiers when you are one yourself, right? Like, these people hate themselves so much that they just sit around writing laws and doing things that put us in harm's way. So if you're going to do that, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out of the closet every minute of the day. 100%. 100%. I have no sympathy for that. We could all use more corporal clingers, if you ask me. A lot of them. Here's a question. Rabia says, will Hunter make amends with his estranged daughter? He needs to step up. He's not a perfect guy, y'all. He's not a perfect guy. I don't know anything about what you're talking about. I'm just reading the energy, okay? The energy suggests that he would be open to making amends with her. But he also is afraid, and this might be him lying to himself, okay? But I'm just saying, energetically, he's afraid that if he tries to reach out to her, that he'll ruin her life, right? You know that saying, darken your door? Because he's bringing with him all this. He's still on Twitter, y'all. He's still on Twitter duking it out like every day with these people. He's still a target. So in his head, he's thinking, if I publicly try and do something with my daughter. It's going to bring my daughter into this. Now, again, maybe he's lying to himself. I'm not saying this altruistic. I'm just reading the energy. I think he does need to step up, but I think it's a complicated thing. And I'm not sure that she wants him in her life, to be honest with you. There's a lot of things that need to be healed there, and there's too much public scrutiny on them right now, is what I just got. But I could be totally wrong. That's just what I'm reading right now. And I'm not a person who would say he's an angel, right? I'm not. Um, so, but I do appreciate the fact that he's out here owning it. He's out here owning it. He's like, I didn't do meth, I did crack or whatever. He's owning it. And I don't see a lot of Democrats or Republicans out there owning what they did. He's owning it. And I think that's very healing. And I think that's a really good example of how we should go forth, really. Oh my God, I wish I wish anybody was the president right now. I mean, I'm not sure, man. I would vote for just about anybody as an interim situation. And I think that's where we'll be, honestly, is we'll have some sort of interim situation or interim person. Let's see, what does this say? Sharon says, did anyone see Lincoln Project's recent show with Byron Noam's sex worker? Interesting and learned a lot. What? Wow. Brian Noam's. That's Christy Noam's husband, right? Holy cow, y'all. You learned a lot? Okay, that's interesting. Is Mary Trump safe? I think so. Generally speaking, anybody that might be after her. So what happens is, the guys just told me, this formation of hate, it's kind of like a washing machine where everything gets agitated and foamed, right? So what happens is you agitate these thousands and tens of thousands of people that are calling into the radio shows and things like that, and then they become lone wolves, right? No one's going to be responsible for them. I can't be responsible. This person just did it. They should be, because they're fomenting hate with what they're saying. But we're not in a place right now where we can connect that. But for some reason, when I was just saying that, the Hortmans came into my mind. The Hortmans got gunned down like a year ago. Her husband, and I think their dog. And so it's that lone wolf thing. Oh, we didn't do it. Wasn't us. Yeah, you kind of did, right? So this is something we're going to have to address in the coming years, that if you have hate speech, that you can be responsible. And in the same way the guides are saying, in the same way that we're starting to hold parents accountable whose kids get a GUN underneath the bed and go do something with it. You didn't secure that GUN. That makes you, the parent, responsible. We're starting to consider that. That's on this level, right? But pretty soon we're going to have to get up to the free speech level. And then we're going to all have to watch our mouths. Okay, that means me too, because if I say go Barry, well, what are you saying exactly? Like recently, somebody etched in 8647 on, I think in some grounds near the White House or something, and they get all kind of in their feelings about that. 8647 makes them lose their minds. So you could see the 8 really well. You could barely see the 6, and you couldn't even see the 47. But they're treating it like a terrorist attack, like literally a terrorist attack. So as we start addressing speech, and what is hate speech, and who's saying it, and what does it mean, and what constitutes it, people like me are going to have to be more careful. I'm just telling you like it is, right? Like that, it's going to be like a thing that's applied to everybody. And we'll just have to be careful about it. Yeah, I've heard crazy things. Look, I'm not going to read your whole statement here, but I've also heard, was it Fuentes, Nick Fuentes? Is he the one that said, if you have sex with a woman and you're a man, that's gay? I mean, this is dystopia. This is dystopia. He's telling his many, because a lot of CK, Charlie's people, went to his right-wing group. They didn't go to Erica with 3Ks. They didn't go to JD. They went to this guy. And this guy's over there telling them, well, if you have sex with a woman and you're a man, then you're gay. You know? So what you're saying here is some of these people are homophobic and they stopped washing their butts because they're afraid that if they touch their own butt, they're going to be gay. But this is the cooked brains that we're dealing with. They're not cognitively well or cognitively able to even do simple critical thinking task. They're just literally zombies, really, I think. Is Usha shady wife telling him to get out? Can we talk about her pregnancy? Can I get into petty? I know it's not petty boots, but can I do that? Can I just get into petty? I saw a picture with her with that baby bump. Y'all say in the comments, y'all think she really pregnant, or is that Hollywood appendage strapped on? Because I saw, and maybe she is, but no matter if she's really pregnant or that's a Hollywood situation, I saw her having some baby that's blonde headed. I've said this for a long time before she got pregnant, because they need some kind of baby Jesus moment. They need some kind of immaculate conception. Like, people are like looking at their other kids and then looking at him and looking at her. And then they got somebody that looks like Erica with 3Ks. That's what the guides keep telling me. So I'm telling y'all, if she has this baby, quote unquote, and it's a blonde baby girl, shut the front door, y'all. Shut the front door. That's all I got to say. I don't think she's pushing him out. I think she can't get out. Like, when I go into the energy, um, she's in it. She, divorcing him in her mind does not give her protection. He will come after her and throw her under the bus to save himself. So she's thinking, I need to stick with him, because if I'm glued to him, he can't throw me over. Right? That's what she's thinking right now. Maybe that'll change. It'll change depending on his freedom, on his whether he gets arrested. Because look, Susie Wiles, there was a rumor that she was going to step down. And she's like, no, I'm not stepping down. But who started that rumor? Because I'm telling you, Trump is starting to get wind that they want him gone. He's starting to get wind that they want Rubio. JD and Rubio are starting to find out they're going to have to fight it out. So who knows if Donald doesn't throw JD in the clink and say, make up some charges. I'm telling y'all, any of these things is possible. It really is. If you put Donald in a corner, he's going to bite all of them. And y'all know he's got rabies and 7,000 sexually transmitted diseases. It's probably some things we don't even know exist yet. So yeah, I think that I think that there's a lot going on there. And I'm not sure what part is going to end up happening. Let me just say this. Because this is the plan, but I don't know. We'll see. The plan is, if they can get him to, to kill off, to kick over, everything is so much easier, because now Vance can, everything is, they in their head, they think it's easier. If they can't get that to happen, then Don is still dangerous to all of them. Right? And I think Don's got a history of making people disappear. Talk to his ex-wife and various other people. So yeah, probably a whole lot of people over there at the ranch, Zorro Ranch. He had a lot to do with that too. So you can imagine what it's like, everybody tiptoeing around everybody else, all the while hoping he's just going to boom and, head for the hills. And then a lot of those people will head for the hills too, to escape, because they know they're getting ready to um they're getting ready to have it. Let's see what else is happening here. Ooh, I don't know. This has got a lot of energy behind it. Always the optimist says, is there a body double in prison taking G Maxwell's place? Has a lot of energy. My guides like took my eyeballs and drug them straight to your question. Um, Look, body doubles are used all the time. Putin uses them. It's very widely known. Um, it's just very, very common. Okay. So first of all, we need to understand that. Second of all, I can totally see that. Because why is she in prison? Because I've told you guys she's got a dead man switch, right? Like if something happens to her, the e-files, videos, I'm talking videos, get put on the buildings in Vegas, in London, in New York Times, the Times Square, um, all over the world, in Dubai, just instant like that. They're just up there. So nobody, and you can't find all the places that she's hid these particular dead man switches. This is why she's alive. I don't think, what's his name, Epstein, he didn't believe that they would ever KIL him. He believed he had too much ego. Ghislaine always knew that she was expendable, so she created a little dead man switch. So why is she still in prison if she's got this, right? Which is a really good question in so many ways, because they've pardoned everybody. Even the governor of Colorado pardoned Tina Peters. I mean, no, they're pardoning anybody. They don't care if these are Democrats that are pardoning people that are horrendous people. It's there's no shame in anybody's game anymore. So why hasn't he pardoned her? Because, oh well, the guides are like, well, this is the e-files. It's a hot potato, and it's a really hot potato with MAGAs. MAGAs were promised, he promised them that he would blow it open and expose it all. So actually, Ghislaine, they can't. She's not liked enough. This is why she has the dead man switch. They can't do it. They can't let her out. So back to your question, do they have a body double? What I'm getting is, well, hmm. Wait a minute. Hold on. I just saw a whole bunch of like movies in my head, and I landed in Paris. But at first I started with her not having one because she's able to come and go as she wants. I mean, she has the most lax, and that is against the law, because she is a sex offender. They can't have these lax leave the compound. They're not allowed. It's against the law, but she has it because there are no laws. So the first thing the guide said was she can come and go as she wants. But then I saw her sleeping. She doesn't want to sleep there, y'all. So yeah, she can come as she can have a normal life, but she's not going to sleep in a cot with a bunch of snoring people and a toilet. That's not going to happen. So I do think that they have created a body double for her. It's a ruse. It keeps the media, it keeps everybody out of their hair while she goes off. And I think this is what I'm getting. I know it sounds crazy. I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm reading the energy. Believe me, don't believe me, it's up to you. It doesn't matter to me. But I think she's had facial reconstruction surgery, and I mean major facial reconstruction surgery. And she has been spending time in France, in Paris. Not Algiers, but Alsatian, something, not the Alps, the Alsatian. Does that make any sense? Something about Alsatian. Anyway, and she's gotten money, or she's diplomatic relations working with Russia and Turkey. Alsace. Yeah, Alsace. That's in France, right? Okay, Alsace. Okay. No, it's Alsace. It's Alsace. Okay, cool. Yeah, so she's been there. I don't know, is that near some mountains? Um, and she's running, she's loose, y'all. She's loose. Yeah, there's somebody else covering for her. You might even, I don't know who asked this question, but thank you for sending me down this rabbit hole. You might even find this person who's doubling for her, DED, in the cell, and then that's it. Like it's like the debt is paid, not for this poor person who dies, but she's released. She's got, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't think we would recognize her. I think she has all new, she might honestly even be taking hormone replacement and be appearing as a man. um yeah, she has very well, I mean, think about what they did at Zorro Ranch, right? They had the dentist, like, so she has lots of people that she could call and get this work done. And she has access to a lot of money. I want to say a lot of money. Many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Alsace is between French and German border. It's in the mountains, isn't it? Is it there are mountains there? So yeah, oh yeah, it's in Switzerland. Yeah, there's mountains. Okay, yeah. So will MAGA ever find Maxwell? No, I don't. Will they ever find out? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I was going to ask you guys how many of you are watching the World Cup? I very rarely go shopping, and I went to 3 stores today and bought zero. I just couldn't. When I went in the door, all I saw was USA flags and the weirdest versions of them, like Americas, like weird, like I don't know, like is English not your first language when you made these shirts? Anyway, seeing all the American stuff just put me off. Um, but I was just wondering, like I guess it's a much bigger thing than I thought it was. I think they're going to be playing in Houston. I'm a little worried about that. Um, in general, I'm worried about it's very big crowds. Um, watching, so some of you are watching, some of you are not watching, some of you are watching. Okay. Soccer's a interesting sport. I mean, it's very lively. It's a lot going on. Yeah, I mean, it's true, Kat, that you're saying, who knows, maybe Jeff is a woman now, right? That Mr. E. Um, I can't find him on the other side, like that he completed his journey, that he went to the light. I can't find him. He could be a ghost. He could have gone out the side door, or he could be alive. But yeah, you better believe that if he's still here, and I'm not going to rule that out, honestly. I'm not saying it is, but I'm not saying it isn't. Um, he would have had, we're talking about, for the facelift, we're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. But yes, also if Jeffrey is around, and I'm not sure that he is though, because he had so many enemies. And he didn't have a dead man switch. He just thought that he would be safe. Um, so yeah, I believe you. I believe you're saying she was saw in Canada with her brother. I believe that. I'm talking about Ghislaine. Yes, I am. Yeah. Um, it was a good question about is did they just put somebody in there to cover for her, to play her, right? In prison. Yeah, I don't think that was him in Israel. I don't think that was him. That was AI. Um, He could be in. He could be there. I'm just saying the photo that I saw was not him. Um, oh, you're watching soccer on Telemundo. That's good. Rubio is at the game. Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe we're here, but we're deep in here. We're not only here, but we're deep in it. Um, Maybe he did, but I don't it wasn't as maybe Epstein did have a dead man switch, but it wasn't anything like hers. Hers is phenomenal, insane. It just like it's going to be a whole movie about hers, I think. Um I'm sure he had one, but it was hers is just another level of insanity. Uh yeah. What other questions you guys have? We are halfway through. What else is happening here? Yeah, that's also true. I think, he had so many powerful people. He had already been in this position once before, and he was, rescued by, I think, DeSantis or the governor of Florida. So he just thought that he was so powerful that he was going to get away with it, and he didn't. Um, will bodies be found? Well, the ones that like what's her name that are buried there, right? His ex-wife. I don't think so. But the guides are saying other incriminating evidence is going to be found there. Perhaps things that were used in crimes, allegedly, will be found in these golf courses, maybe even in a maintenance uh, building, a shed behind, like in some weeds. Like, I mean, these are not the thing about criminals, they're not brilliant, they're not smart, right? So they just toss something away. And then you add to that this level of incredible power. They just thought they were untouchable. They bought off governors, they bought off mayors, they bought off, you know, very big, powerful people. So they just got sloppy. So your question is, I don't think there's going to be people buried there, but I think there will be accoutrements or evidence of foul play stored or deposited or discarded at these places. There are plenty of places that are going to have dead bodies, like Zorro Ranch and other places, though. We were just talking about, is Epstein still alive? I can just tell you that I don't see him having crossed to the light. He's either alive or he's a ghost, one or the other. And I'm pretty sure that Trump will be a ghost. There's no way that guy's going to go to the light because he believes that he's going to be judged, and he doesn't want nothing to do with that. So his plan is not to go to the light. He's going to be a ghost, unless somebody punts him to the other side. I'll tell you, if I ever come across his ghost, I will punt him to the light personally and be thrilled to do it. You guys have to remind me. I remember that Bernie had a new bill. Was it about I'm channeling, I can't remember all the things. Was it about billionaires charging billionaires or something? I think no, they're saying no, his bill is not going to get traction. Not right now. But it will in the future, like maybe next year. Um, what I feel like might happen, you all, is that it gets traction and we all get excited, and then it gets mothballed, or it gets like some procedural strike against it. It goes into some committee and never comes out, That's how they do these things. That way it looks like they're working on it, like, oh, we're working on it, but they're not really working on it. They have no intention of working on it. What they're actually doing is burying it in the backyard. But we are going to get some big changes. I don't think it's going to be this year. I think this year our big changes is we're going to get rid of Trump. We're probably going to get rid of JD. We might have somebody else come in. And if we're lucky, all of that will also implode, which will not be it will be painful. It will not be pretty to have your government implode. But I have seen that where we have like a coalition government or some kind of temporary government. I've seen this for a long time. So I think this is a real possibility. We're going to get there, but it's going to be messy. It's not going to be somebody rides in on the beautiful, horse and saves us. It's going to be really messy. Yeah, I think those tunnels that Reversed Images says are the tunnels under Mar-a-Lago being used to get adversaries into our government. Well, when they had to hide it, yes, but now the adversaries just come right in and land on the White House lawn and walk right into the White House. But I think what is going in and out of those tunnels are people, be they trafficked people, prisoners. I don't know why I said prisoners, but they're prisoners. I don't understand. Money, evidence, other things are going in and out. So right. If you weren't here in the beginning, I said that Johnny with the Torah's Apprentice, if you're not following him, you should. He talked about he read in the news that JD got chickens. JD got actual chicken birds, and he's has a chicken coop on his little White House lawn, his vice president lawn. And when I went into that energy, that's a cover up, right? To receive feed or give things, or the vet comes over. You know what I mean? It's a nice little facade. Okay, well, that's what these tunnels are for Mar-a-Lago. It's a facade. It's a way to elicit things to be moving without anybody knowing. Well, JD don't have no tunnels, so he got chickens. I mean, he is from Appalachia, so that's what, oh my God, those chickens probably all dead by now. God bless them. What's in Ivana's coffin? Peg bolts. I have read about this I love that picture. I've read about this since the beginning of Ivana, because she came to me right after she was killed and told me they didn't have to do that. I wasn't gonna say anything because she was gonna do a deposition the next day. She fell downstairs when she had an elevator. Anyway, what I see in that coffin is literally gold bars. I see papers. I see microscope slides. So evidence of something that would be on a microscope slide. I see papers. I see gold bars. I see maybe even somebody else's remains that aren't hers in there. I don't know why. Again, evidence. Maybe Epstein is in there. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff in there that, you can't just dig up a body. You have to have a lot of paperwork before you can just go dig up a body. And then it's on private property. So they felt like this was a safe place to put a lot of things. Now, if they need to dig it up, they can. And I've said this a long time ago when we were actively reading on this, well, now who knows, but for the longest time, satellite pictures, I mean, you could Google Earth and zoom right down into his golf course, and you could see if there was disturbed dirt. So I've said we should pay attention to that. We should make sure that there's not disturbed dirt there that would maybe tell us that they dug this up for some reason. But that's what I think is in there. I think there's all kinds of things in there that's not even her. I'm not even sure that she's in there. I hate to say it, but that's what I'm getting. Village says, how is Joe Biden's health doing? He's doing well despite, like, I would say he's doing better than I would think he would be doing. That's what I would say. He's doing better than I think he should be doing, given his health. I don't think he's ever said this, but I'm pretty sure he has Parkinson's. I'm not sure that I've ever said that on video, but my dad had Parkinson's, and he just reminds me of my dad. Like, everything about him looks like he has Parkinson's. They've never said that, I don't think, but whatever he is struggling with, he is doing really well with it. He's got the best doctors in the world, he's got the best care in the world, and he doesn't have the presidency of that incredible stress. Um, he is, I've said this before too, as I'm looking into him, he is working with people just as Obama is, and I think others are. They're working with people behind the scenes to to break this hold that we're in a stranglehold right now. So they're like trying to break it, from the inside, on the down low, making deals and continue to do so. So the energy is that he doesn't give up. Even if he gets 1,000 no's, no, 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 he still goes back and tries again. He's never going to give up. But that's what I see with his health. He's a little frail actually, but he's doing well considering. I think it's Clinton who is on his last leg. He's a thread. Clinton is here by a thread, I think. They just showed me Carter for some reason. Maybe Clinton is the next president to go. Would that be before Trump? I mean, can we call Trump a president, honestly? Because I usually don't. But let's see. Please tell me what CUSMA is. Again, I don't think even I would know this, but 60% of my brain is not mine right now, so I don't know what CUSA is. I mean, maybe I could look it up and see what it is. It's for Canada. Is it a Canada thing? Okay, it's United States Mexico agreement. Okay, CUSMA. The Canada, United States, and Mexico created the largest free trade region in the world, generating economic growth. Okay. And are you saying that it's oh yeah. Right. Well, I can tell you this energetically, he would love to put his name on this and call it the Trump bilateral North South America, whatever deal. Okay, because my guides kept saying NAFTA. Okay, great. That makes sense. So CUSMA took over NAFTA. It's like I said earlier, Carney left the building. Carney is like, I don't have time for this. I don't negotiate with terrorists and I don't negotiate with toddlers. And this man is both, so I'm not doing this. Not saying he won't come back and sit at the table, but I'm saying that Carney spent considerable time and energy and effort to make deals with China and other countries. Whereas Mexico kind of needs us more than Canada does. The way I'm reading the energy, not saying it wouldn't hurt Canada. I'm saying that when I look at this, Mexico feels like they want to negotiate more than Canada does. And Donald is out to lunch in general. He's just completely, even this was 15 years ago, he wouldn't have the cognition to understand this situation, and especially not now. So I think I look, when I go into it, Donald is happy for it to just fail. He's happy for it to fail. He's not going to do much for it to happen. If it happens, it happens because everybody else did the work. And also bowed down to him and kissed his butt. I'm not sure if I see Scheinbaum doing that, but again, she kind of needs, at this moment, she needs us. Maybe not in 6 months or a year, but right now she kind of feels like she does. I maybe Mexico doesn't, but what I get is that Scheinbaum thinks that they do. you have I'm not saying we're some kind of special thing. I'm saying that we are buyers. We buy things. And Mexico has products that it's much more complicated. A lot of our cars that are made in the United States, a lot of it is made in Mexico. How are we going to deal with that? Is we're just going to cut that off, right? There's something there's a negotiation that should happen, but we're dealing with a terrorist who is literally nuts. So I just don't know how it's going to go. I don't feel great about it. If it did happen, I think Mexico and Canada would have to really take a shellacking, and I don't see them doing that. I just don't see it, but we'll see, I guess. I don't know, you guys. I don't have a good feeling about it. And I don't blame Canada for being tired of the disrespect. I mean, whether you like Carney or not, what I really thought was great about him was when all this went down months ago, Carney's like, that's it, and he got on the phone with China, he got on the phone with other countries and started making deals. Now, I don't know if Scheinbaum did that or not. I'm sure she did, but it's just easier for her to work with us. And I think there was some hope that maybe it would work. We're talking about the CUSA or whatever it is. It's the trade pact between Mexico, United States, and Canada. It used to be NAFTA, but now it has a new name, and Trump is, I guess, threatening to deep six it. So yeah. Yeah, he actually said he loves the inflation. There you go. 50% of our fruits, but he doesn't care if he does not care if we can't get food. He doesn't care. He said he loves inflation. He doesn't care. So I mean, in this whole screwworm thing, we had eradicated it. We through science had eradicated this. It wasn't a problem. And because of him, now it is a big problem. The screwworm is coming into our cattle. It's going to be coming into our animals. Apparently, I heard a vet say that if you use sort of the less expensive flea meds, this is in Texas, in the South. If you use less expensive flea meds and not the expensive ones from the vet, that they don't protect so much against fleas. Fleas create a hole, a little pinprick, and screwworms go in there. So this is a really big deal, you guys. It's a really big deal. The whole thing is just a big deal, and I know it's exhausting. Patricia says, is the Russian army really evacuating the Kimburn spit in Ukraine? Energetically, I hear the words running for their lives. Is that evacuating? It's I don't know if it's unplanned. What is the word they want to use? It just looks like chaos. It looks like chaos. Like there's no leadership. Some are fighting, some are running. It just looks like chaos when I look at it. It looks really bad. I don't even know where that is in Ukraine, but I hope it's good for Ukraine. I hope whatever that is, that it's really, really good for Ukraine. Yeah, I've seen something also I've said since last month. I told you guys this week, like between now and the 15th, 16th, or right around the 14th, I've been saying for a month, I get something around Flag Day, his birthday. It feels heavy. It feels too heavy to support, right? So something crashes to the side. You built this big thing, but you put it on spindly little legs and the whole thing is just going to fall over. I feel like the energy does not support him. Does that mean that he kicks off? I don't think so. But does it mean that he is sick or he gets injured or he gets humiliated. Yes, all those things are possible. Yes, I absolutely see. I talked about it a little bit earlier. That there's like a vortex energy, which I've never seen before till tonight. When I went into that with those whatever those things are with the UFC or whatever that fight is, those big bars that they put up, um, that that the land under there feels like it could open up. Like, I don't know if there's a BOMB that goes off or if this is energetic. I don't know, but it's a sinkhole, like a sinkhole opens up. Again, maybe this is physical, maybe it's energy. I'm not sure, but definitely something feels like it could happen there. And it feels like it could happen around this week. Oh, no, that's not good. So the workers at the Kennedy Center were peeling the name off, and then there were storms, I heard. So they were waiting for the storms. And now Ashley says there might be some sort of legal interference, but I'm not sure. I also thought they were also stalling because there were storms nearby and they didn't want to, it was lightning nearby. But hopefully, well, are they going to take it off? You know what? I think you're right. I think there could be an interruption, but I think it's going to be even worse because instead of TRUMP, it could be UMP. Like they get interrupted, and it's now ump. You know, I it's it could be something like that. It's not completed. They didn't get all the letters off, but the ones that are left, it looks stupid. So it. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think that's gonna matter. I mean, fine, if it's up there with ump on it. I think that's actually kind of fitting in a way. Um, yeah, Little Johnson said he said that they have plans to cut Medicare and Social Security in 2027. He'll be persona non grata by then. Hurst says, Hurstead. Yeah, they don't care. First of all, they don't care, but then I don't see them doing it. I don't see them doing it the way they want to do it. They may again have to do something that weakens it, or they're going to try to do something. They've been trying since the 80s, literally, to do this. And I really feel like if you want to talk about a civil war, somebody asked earlier about a civil war. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. That is one of those things that I think could start one. Not having Medicare, not having Medicaid, not having Social Security, or cutting them, even cutting them by 30%. It would kick off. There's just like these little triggers, and I'm not sure where they all are, but I'll tell you, that's one of them. That's one of them. Going Another trigger is the draft. Remember how I told you guys draft energy a couple of months ago? They're still trying to get it. They're still working on it. They never stopped. They're still trying to activate some sort of draft. That's a trigger. If you activate a draft, all these people that are only watching the World Cup and celebrities and sports and basketball and all the things, they're going to be like, what? They're going to wake up. They're going to be like, wait, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They're going to wake up. Again, it's the frog boiling. Yes, the gas is going up, but it's slow. We're boiled slow. But there are some things that are going to be like, bam, just snap, wake you up. The draft is one of those. Cutting Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security is another one of those things. I hate to say it. I wish that it was that they are disappearing Black and brown people. I would like to say that gentleman that got he got sent to prison for, I don't even know, I haven't read it, but Black man had a knife, got railroaded in his there's no Black people on the jury. Dude got sent to prison for longer than Rittenhouse for murder. Where's the justice anywhere? Where is the justice anywhere? None of this seems to be waking people up. None of it. But pass start drafting people. Start drafting people. They will wake up like you've never seen them. For real. So sometimes I think we have to wait until one of these big triggers happen, right? I think Flag Day is the 14th, and I don't know why it's Flag Day, but I think it's also 45's Frump's birthday. All Good Names says, is J.D. Bowman Hamill Vance? He's in all the man's government names, all his aliases, all his aliases. Is he leaking and why? We should probably talk about that too, actually. We should talk about the New York Times and Haberman, who I despise a lot. But anyway, so first of all, let's talk about J.D. Vance. Is he leaking? Because they're ready for Trump to go. They're ready for him to go. And they want it to be they want it to be easy where he just kicks off. But he won't because he's probably literally the devil. He's not going to die. He's not human anymore. So they're going to start turning against him. They're going to start leaking things. They're also trying to, the guides are saying they're also trying to misdirect people, right? Like, so if I come out and say, there's this thing that people should know about, that means I'm innocent, right? Because I told you about it. I can't be criminal because a criminal wouldn't tell you about it. You see what I'm saying? He's positioning himself so that he can be a whistleblower and not a criminal. Okay, so that's really what he's doing. But let's also talk about, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I saw it on social media because I do not support the New York Times in any way, shape, or form. And I haven't for a long time. But Maggie Haberman. Okay. She's an author. She's a journalist. And I don't know if you all remember, way back during his first reign of terror, she was like the Frump whisperer. She could go to him and talk to him, and she could get stories out of him, and she could go and get his opinion on things, and then she would go back and write about it, and she was like the Frump whisperer. Well, it turns out that she's really an operative. And I'll tell you too, look up Matt Taibbi. I think it's Taibi. I was a big fan of Matt Taibbi because he could write. Oh my God, he could write like 5 pages, and I would just read and read and loved his writing. And I think he's gone. I don't even know where he's at, but I think he was really found out to be a Russian plant. He actually lived in Russia before he worked at the Times. Anyway, so Haberman, there was a video done that was very professional. It was actually shot vertical format for social media, lit black and white, very dramatic. And her and this other guy, I forget his name, they were talking about the e-files and DJT and exposing things and all of this. And I'm like, oh, it's a hit job. Everybody's like, wow, it's a hit job. It's a hit job. Why would they be doing that? Why all of a sudden now? Why would it be leaked that JD led a whole meeting in like the war room over what are we going to do about DJT's involvement with the e-files? He assembled everybody together as if we were under attack by some kind of foe. Instead, it was no, we need to figure out what we're going to do about DJT and these pictures and these files and this evidence. So you can see from those two things that this is leaked, that now we've learned about it. It was a year ago, but now we've learned about it. Why now? Why now? Why is New York Times doing a hit job on him now? Because they're trying to separate. They're trying to rebrand. They're trying to save their butts. They're trying to save their butts. So, but that's an important thing for us to know because you can see the tide changing. You can literally see the tide changing. Well, Juneteenth, um, Jeanette, um, Juneteenth has been Juneteenth for like a long 100 years because because I spent a lot of time in Galveston, which is where Juneteenth happened, Galveston, Texas. There were black people who were still slaves, and yet there was no slavery in the country. And they had to send the army down to free them and tell them, you're not a slave anymore. But there was no, media to tell them that. Nobody told them you're not a slave. They're still thinking they're a slave. So it's called Juneteenth. It's Emancipation Proclamation. So it's a really important day in our country, where those people were told you're not a slave anymore, even though they were emancipated years before. Yeah, they are the Walking Dead. They are. The 45 administration is the Walking Dead. Yeah, she should be careful. Tiny Quirk says one of Elon's baby mamas is hinting about the stealing votes for T. I know she is doing that, and she should be very careful because they will just make her disappear in a blink. Um, and nobody will even remember her name or anything, unfortunately. Um, in regards to Biden and Parkinson's, this is just what I get. I know my dad had Parkinson's for 15 years, and sometimes there's a hand tremor, sometimes there's other things. I see it in his gait. I see it in his face, his stony face, I just see it in all different ways. I don't see the hand per se exactly, but I do see it in some other ways. And you know what? I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong for sure. Um, what else has happened in here? The Talking Dead. Yeah. And now, y'all, can you believe I heard this? Okay, uh, a friend of mine was telling me that somebody that they know went to like a sort of a club fed, so sort of like a higher, you know, better version of prison. But do you know that when you get there, if you want socks, you got to buy them. If you want to be able to talk to your family, you can, like, this person had to pay $500 just to send some TEXTs. If you want to talk to them, it's hundreds of dollars. You can call them. If you want underwear, you got to buy it. Like it really is insane, and the prices are like airport prices. So it's like $16 for a pair of socks. It's a freaking grift. It's a grift. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, me too. Here in Texas in the South is Juneteenth for many decades. Parades, all kinds of things happen, and I'm glad that it's spreading because I think here in the Pacific Northwest it's a holiday or something. So it might be a bank holiday. So I was like, wow, y'all celebrate it up here. I just thought nobody even knew about it or talked about it. So I'm glad to hear that. Question from nickname Jill says, Dr. Vest says Republicans will become extinct. Is this true? Yeah, I last year, before a lot of this happened, I said the Republican Party is going to break in two. It's either going. I've said this for so many years because they just showed me. Remember how I used to get so upset over Liz Cheney because you remember when Biden was president and everybody was like, Liz Cheney's a patriot and she's doing stuff with the, you know, Jan 6 committee. And I kept telling everybody she's a formidable opponent. That's what my guide said. And they kept showing me this picture, and it's still relevant right now. They show me this picture of something that's burned down. It's probably the White House now. It's something is burned down. You could tell there was a building there, and it's smoldering still. And I see Liz Cheney walking through the coals and through the burned pieces with cowboy boots on, kicking the pieces just to make sure that it's all burned, right? So here, why that's relative is because I saw the Republican Party falling apart. I saw them fighting each other. I saw them just it not even being in existence anymore. She got out of it so that she can be the leader of the new version of it. So yes, I do see it becoming extinct. Now, whether or not the word Republican becomes like a Nazi name and we're not even allowed to say it, I don't know, but probably not. But I do think the Republican Party will either break in two or and I think initially it's going to break in two, and there's going to be one side that's it's the guides just keep saying it's like Dixie, it's like the South. Like one side of it is going to be pretty racist and own it and be like, we don't care. Like in Belfast, what they're doing over there, like we don't care. We're white supremacists. We don't care. And then another side is going to be no, we're the Republicans of Reagan, whatever, which to me, that's the devil as well. But anyway, so yes, I do see this happening. I'll go one further and say I see the Democratic Party also splitting in two. These are all things I've said for years. But we're getting closer to it happening now because the Democrats, you're going to have people like maybe Bernie will get some people over there who will be like more socialist, and then the others will be more corporate. And I think it could be good for us to have four parties or five parties and then have coalitions. I think that would be better than this divided, us against them. Because if you have multiple parties, it's just easier for people to join with each other and have coalitions. And when I would say this years ago, everybody would say, that's crazy. It's never going to happen. Well, look where we are now. Look at all the crazy things that have happened, right? It's it's insane. So yeah, I do think it's very much possible for that to happen. The question is when, really. Oh, right. Biden is the one that signed Juneteenth into official holiday. Thank you. Okay, that's why. That's why. Okay, that's why. Because I was like, wow, wow. T-Barb, your son is in prison and happy to make 23 cents an hour. It's his job. And 23 cents an hour, he's still got to buy his toothpaste. He's got to buy, you know what I mean? Like it really is like the guides always talk about those company camps or company towns where you work for the company, but you pay the company rent. You go to the company store to buy food. So all the money goes back to the company. That's what the prisons are doing. And that's what they want to turn our economy into. They want us, think about it, all these corporations that are buying thousands of houses. They want they want all of our money. They want us to pay them to rent. They want us to buy our food from them. They want us to buy our health care from them. They see us as little profit centers and they want all the profit. They don't want us to be independent. This is why they're going after these hardworking immigrants because they come here, they work their butts off, they put their kids through college, you know, and they might end up with a business that's doing pretty good. But they don't want that. They don't want people to live the American dream. They want the American dream to be you come here and you work for me and you give all your money to me. It's horrendous, really. I just moved to the Pacific Northwest a year ago. So yeah, I was a Texas girl for 30 years. So yeah, I'm glad Juneteenth is a federal holiday. That's super awesome. Yeah, if you guys are here, I really appreciate it. Subscribe, like, really appreciate that, especially when you're seeing a live. If you're on anybody's live, please hit the thumbs up button. Even if you're on the TV, you can find a way to do it because it just helps YouTube. YouTube really gets excited about that. So I appreciate it. And that QR code is from my website. I have a free community online. I have a paid community where I work with you online. I have a free newsletter, I have lots of things. So if you scan that, you can go to my website and learn about all of those things. Right. That's a really good point, Saturnian sister. The burned down building represents the old USA. That you nailed it. That's it right there. Like I'm thinking about the White House, which does is a metaphor for the USA. But you're right. That is the old USA. And and honestly, I feel better about Liz because when Biden was in office, things were better and people were much more kindly to her. And I think that now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we feel about Republicans and any kind of Republicans, especially when, Adam Kinzinger and her voted for a lot of Trump's, I mean, over 90%, they voted in his first term. So they agreed with him 90% of the time. They're not patriots, you know what I mean, in my opinion. So hopefully people will not fall for her stuff. Ooh, let's see what this says. The Warrior Widow says, "Can you read on Lindsey Graham's election win? How was it possible?" Well, you guys, we're in the land of lies and deceit and illegal wins. So they're rigged. I mean, all I can tell you is they're rigged. How they're rigged, I don't know. Is it I've given you guys specific things that happened to me that I've seen years and years ago. I mean, I'm talking about 15 years ago. I was called in at the last minute because we were counting ballots. It was a write-in special election, and the write-in, the person running had a weird name, and it had to be spelled exactly correctly. Okay, so we were counting hand ballots, and I was down in the room just watching the results as part of the Democratic Party. And I got summoned to go up to the room where they were counting the ballots because there was an accusation that something was going on up there, and they wanted a Democrat to sit next to every Republican. Like I couldn't touch them, but I could sit next to a Republican while they were counted. And when I went up there, they took my cell phone from me, they patted me down, and they had a state trooper up there who was armed, walking around staring at us. It was not good. It was also 1 o'clock in the morning. So we get this box, and the guy opens it, cuts the, little secure wire. It's empty. The box is empty. There's no ballots in it. And the guy goes white. He was an old white Republican dude. And he goes white and he goes, "This is my district." I went because, I don't know if y'all know this, but when you work elections, you actually visit the polls and you ask, "How's it going? Are there people coming?" You have poll watchers. You're trying to gauge, is this a busy poll? And he's like, "I was there. This was a busy poll. This thing should be full of votes." Well, this is a Republican. Before we could say anything, that trooper grabbed that box, picked it up, and left. And this guy was like, "Nuh-uh, wait a minute. I want to talk to somebody." That trooper said, "Sit down and shut up." And there was actually also an election judge there. And we never knew what happened to that box. Nobody ever told us what happened to that box. I saw that in my own eyeballs. So look, this kind of stuff has been going on for a long time. There's lots of ways that you can rig an election, whether it's through suppression, whether you change the polling places at the last minute, you close them early, you purge the rolls, you get rid of voters who are on the rolls, or you do something electronically. But yeah, he didn't. This is how this is happening, and this is going to come out. Whatever. If Musk had something to do with it, whoever had something to do with it, it's going to come out in some way. I don't know if it's going to come out in the way we want it to, but it is going to come out. And that's why the guides say we have to vote bigger, right? We have to bring, if we can win by having one vote more than they do, We actually need to have 1,000 votes more than they do. We have to have way more than they have to be able to overcome whatever it is that they're doing. Yeah. So, question here is all the good names taken. If there are four major parties, will the electoral college finally end? Yeah, I don't think, I don't think initially, and I don't see us having four parties like this year, right? Like this is going to take time. We still have to, I hate to say it, but we have to break down even more. We have to break apart even more. Those people are not woke yet. But I do see the electoral college going. My guides have been saying for a long time, ranked choice voting is going to be the thing. I have never done it. I've never lived in a place where they do it. I don't know if I would like it. Some people love it, some people don't. But the guides say ranked choice voting is going to be the first thing we have. So that's the first big change that you see. And maybe that is that more states adopt it than not. Like more, like say 50% of our states or even 70% of our states adopt ranked choice voting. So it's more prevalent than not prevalent. Then, as far as the electoral college, it's coming to an end, the guides are saying. But I think there could be something put forth in 2028 about it. I don't know that it's successful, but it's a pretty good try. It's a pretty strong try. Like they have a lot of support for it in 2028. So we're moving in the right direction. Absolutely. We're moving in the right direction because that is just ridiculous. The electoral college is wrong on all levels. Oh, you guys do ranked choice? That's cool. Libby from Meister Tarot says Australia does ranked choice voting in all elections along with compulsory voting. Love our electoral system. I love that you have compulsory voting. I've talked about that many times. I think that we need to get there as well. I mean, look, if everybody has a stake, you know what I mean? If they're like, you have a stake, you're going to have to vote, you're going to have to figure it out. But I also think that we're going to need to make it more simple. They write these bills so that yes means no and no means yes, and it's very complicated and confusing. You have to be an attorney to read them and even understand what they mean. Living here in the Pacific Northwest, I got a book that was an inch thick, and I was happy to get it because in Texas you get nothing, zero. But I got a book like, hey, these are all the things we're voting on. Okay, people these days don't read. They don't read. And I don't think they're going to read a book, you know? That's why they listen to TikTok and then they go do things that are not in their interest because they're easily swayable. They're just like, "Oh, I like this sports person or I like that person. They told me to do this, so I did it." So, we have to we have to fix these things slowly but surely. Yeah, we have to beat their cheat. Um well, Sharon says, then the Dems can't have 15 candidates running. I mean, they could have 5 candidates running for each of those parties, right? I mean, so each of those parties are going to have their own primary or whatever system we're using at that point, because God knows what it is. So there's going to be competition within the parties. So the competition's not going to go away. It's just the way we do it is going to be different. And that will need to be changed too, right? Maybe we'll do it and we're like, that didn't really work, or we're not really happy with that. So we have to also be open to for this to be a process, and I do hope we look at other countries like Australia and say, oh, I like the way they do this, or I like the way they do that. Because if countries are doing these things successfully, I think we should learn instead of recreating the wheel, right? Sharon's back on the board with another question, and she says, "Do you see integrity going back into voting process anytime in the next several election cycles?" I don't know if you mean integrity, if you mean truth. or our ability to trust it, right? Like the integrity of that it's true. Do I see integrity going back in the voting process? Um, what I see is what the guides just showed me is I don't know when this is, but they've talked about this before that there could be retinal scanners. So um, it could be that you open up an app on your phone that's a secure app that you scan your retina. It's you, right? And you literally vote right on your phone. There's going to be other ways to vote. Whether maybe it's I don't think it's going to be by mail. You got I know I'm about to make everybody mad, but the US Postal Office has been mortally wounded, the guides just said. Mortally wounded. No, I don't know. But the point of the guides is that there's going to be some real what we believe and trust to be completely unhackable ways to VOTE. We will get that trust back because if we don't have if we don't have laws and we don't have trust in our election and everything is too expensive and maybe there's a draft and that's civil war. That's they don't the robber barons don't want well, I take that back. They do want civil war in the sense that they could fill up all the data centers with people, right? And then they could put a crackdown on everybody. But you know what would happen? The guides have been saying this for at least 5 years. The troubles. They have been saying this for, I swear to God, 5 years. The troubles in Northern Ireland, where it was insurgents insurgents. We don't like you telling us what to do. You're not our government. Get out of the way. We're going to blow you up. We're going to blow that up. We're going to attack this. This is what would happen to the United States if they decided that they were going to quell us, shut us up, knock us down, control us. It would be insurgents. How this country was founded. We're not people who we're too big. We're too big. We're not governable. We would fight back in any way possible, and they would not win. And I think this is what they're understanding right now. They're understanding this experiment didn't work. So I think they're going to they're going to allow us to do this, and then they're going to get their way a different way. They're just going to try to go about it a different way. I don't know if that answered your question, because sometimes when I'm channeling, they're like they go off on a tangent. That is true. So Stop Drinking the Kool-Aid says one of our major problems in this country about voting is that we're too big, too many cooks in the kitchen, too many chefs, too many chiefs, and too many opinions always leads to bureaucratic paralysis. Well, that's true. I think that's why the states are going to have more power, and your state is going to have way more power than the federal government, and how you live is going to be dictated by your state. It's not going to be so many chiefs or cooks in the kitchen. Because the power is going to be centralized in your state. Then it's going to really matter where you live and who has control of that. And this is a very unique system. We're a republic with all these independent states. This is a very unique system. This is not like think of any other country. There's no other country quite like this. So it is hard to govern. It is hard to get things done. They don't read and they don't watch videos over 10 minutes, and it's getting worse. I mean, even me, I don't know about you guys, but I was a reader, like I was a voracious reader. And now I find it hard to read a novel. It has to be really good, like really, really good for me to really get into it. It's just my attention span is changing because of the media input that I watch. And I'm not even a person on TikTok, watching those quick videos, right? Or watching the YouTube shorts all the time. So if it's affecting me, it's affecting other people as well, for sure. Let me just do one or two more questions and we'll call it a night. I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a spirit navigator. If you've enjoyed this conversation, I hope you'll subscribe and share this video if this is something that you think people would find interesting. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the description, you can find a transcript for any video at all. So in the description, if you click transcript, it pops up on the side and then you can link it to the video time, so you can actually, look at the transcript and then say, that's what I want to hear about. Click that, it'll take you to the video, just so that you guys know that that is something that you can do these days. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you'll do something nice for yourselves this weekend, right? We can't let them, get us down, because why would we do that? We'd be letting them win. Terry Wilson says, can Doug Jones beat Tommy Tuberville for Alabama governor? I think it's going to be close, you guys, but I think Tommy might pull it out. And I know that that is horrible, beyond horrible. Doug Jones. Can Doug Jones win? Can he beat Tommy? I mean, he should. The guides are saying he should. He's a better person. He's a better candidate. There could be more shenanigans, you guys. But I'm going to say this too. If Tommy does win, it's almost like he needs to win to stay out of prison. Or I don't know, he'll go to prison. He may flee the country, or flee life or something. But there's something big, I think, coming down the pike for Mr. Tuberville, and I don't think it's good. And I think there's enough evidence and enough energy and enough willpower. So that's the big thing. You can have all the energy in the world, but if people aren't willing to do something about it, it doesn't happen. So I think if he does win, I think he's not going to be in for long, because I think he's going to be found guilty or railroaded out of that office. So one way or the other, I think he gets railroaded out. Either he doesn't win, or he gets railroaded out. But right now, anything could change, but right now it feels like he could really win. Um yeah, right. So exactly. La Sandina says short videos are changing our brains. They are. It just is what it is, right? I'm sure our brains changed when we got the automobile and we could do things that we couldn't do before. We adapted, but this might be a change that might not be a good one. We'll have to see. We'll have to just see about it, how we deal with it. And watching shorts is fine. It's just, I think we need to like work our brain out, right? Like watch shorts, but then try to watch a long movie, or try to read more. I don't know. Just try to work your brain out as much as possible in all ways, right? Because that's important too. Yeah, I think Doug Jones feels really good, but I mean, it's Alabama, y'all. It's Alabama. Okay, last question. Tiny Quirk says, fantasizing Jamie Raskin being elected speaker after midterms and then becoming president that way. I have seen something different. I have seen Jeffries. Yes, I have seen Jeffries becoming president, and here's why. Well, we know that we've seen this movie too many times, where Republicans rob the place blind, you know, literally rob us blind, and then walk out, and then a Democrat has to come in, put it all back together like Biden did, and then not only that, like Obama did too, not only that, put it all back together, but then raise us up, like actually get us higher. So what they would like to do, when I go into their energy, they would love for a Democrat to be in here, but they would love for it to be a Democrat who would be too meek, who would be too weak and meek to push higher, like Biden and his whole infrastructure bill, right? Jeffries is going to be, let's make a deal because for the good of the country. I swear to God, we're going to hear that, and it's going to make our eyes. For the good of the country, Susan, you just got to get together. We got to do this for the good of the country. So I think the scenario they want, not Raskin, because Raskin will do the thing. Raskin will have tribunals. He'll have laws. He will actually be a great, effective leader. But Jeffries, on the other hand, would be easily manipulated. So I think that's what they're trying to do. Like if they can't win with their own people, they're going to put a Democrat in that they can influence. And that's the next thing that's going to irritate me beyond belief, honestly. Beyond belief is going to be that situation. So, but we'll deal with it, right? We'll deal with it. If we get Jeffries, it doesn't matter what's going to happen because we're dealing with it now. We're in the thick of it right now and we're dealing with it. We're still here. We're still trying to make our way. We will get through this. That is the bottom line. We can't give up. We can't walk away. We have to just keep going forward. And the thing is that if we get Johnson, if we get Rubio, or even if we get Jeffries, that is sort of a way station. That's the reprieve. Remember when the guide said that the country would be put in like a medical coma? Remember when they said that? Like there's going to be this period where we're not really doing anything. We're not going up. We're not going down. We're basically just like I started this whole video out by saying, checking, are we okay? Like, oh, I just went through a fatal car wreck. I thought, but I'm here. Like, I'm okay. Like, look, I'm all here. That's what we're going to be doing during this period of time when we're in this medically induced coma. Like that could be a Jeffries. That could be probably not a Republican, but definitely a moderate Democrat where we're just here. Just it's going to take a long time. What did he do with this department? What is happening with this department? We have to assess. We're in a period of assessing. Let's see how much of this department do we have left? What can we do over here? That's going to take a long time. So if we get something like that, it's okay because we're still in the assessment. We're not really going to be ready for a Raskin, right? Well, we would be. But once we get to the assessment done, we're like, okay, we now know what's going on. Then we put in somebody like Buttigieg or Raskin or Harris or whoever it is. And then that person has their marching orders because we've already done our assessment. We know where we are and we know where we want to go. So this is going to be a multi-stage situation. So I think that's something good to keep in mind, right? Like, even if it looks like we're not going forward, we're probably not going backwards the same way that we would be had Donald still be there. Yeah, and I'm excited about the youth. I'm just excited about the potential, right? But the potential is there if we are there, if we have the voice, if we take good care of ourselves now so that when we do have that voice, we can go to those town halls, we can go to those marches, we can write those letters, those emails, we can do the things we need to do. So we just need to take care of ourselves right now so we have the energy to do that. All right. I don't know if you'll be dead by then. I don't think so. I think this could be moving pretty quickly. And you know, I think all of the things that we talked about tonight clearly show energy is moving, things are moving. So I think things could be moving a lot faster than we think. So let's just take care of ourselves, right? Let's just we'll take each day as it comes and take really good care of yourselves, okay? Everybody take really good care. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and hanging out with me and talking with me and supporting everybody in the chat. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you. And we'll see you guys really soon. Okay. So take good care, and I'll see you on the flip side. And let's just hope that the vortex sucks a bunch of people down, you know, this week. That's that's all we want. Just that small thing. All right. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next time.